Charred rubble and shells of burned homes are what's left of these properties on 14th Avenue South in the Phillips neighborhood of Minneapolis, where neighbors point to ongoing problems from homeless encampments as the spark for such destruction. For the first time, see the sickening scene one homeowner discovered just days before all of this: ongoing dangerous acts that some community members call domestic terrorism.
This would not happen in Kenwood. This would not happen in Lowry Hill. This would not happen in Linden Hills. We're on our 18th camp in a 6x6 block neighborhood.
Fearful for her safety after what happened at her home, we're not showing this woman's face or using her name. After being out of town, she came home to this 2 weekends ago. Every room in her house where she's lived for 20 years ransacked.
Destroyed, torn apart. Doors kicked in, everything owned, trashed, stolen, used, bags of stuff loaded and taken out of the house.
Retaliation, she believes, for speaking out about ongoing homeless encampments in the Phillips neighborhood and for offering solutions she says the city refuses to follow.
So when the city talks about equity in every breath at a city council meeting, every breath, I'll just say it's bullshit. Because if it was in the eyes of equity, they would not be containing crime here in the Phillips community. They would not let American Indian young people as young as 15 get strung out on opioids and not help them. And for the mayor to just go along with business as usual and not prioritize this community or our block or the kids locked into that encampment is inexcusable. For the governor to not react, where's Peggy Flanagan, our lieutenant governor? These are her kids. These are Native kids in this camp being victimized.
Days after the destruction in her home, 3 others went up in flames.
It's just horrifying to watch.
On that same day, the woman in our story discovered someone had been back to her place, this time to light candles and spread lamp oil on the belongings left behind. She believes with the intent to also burn it down.
It's just heartbreaking to see the violence that people have had to endure in this neighborhood. It's not right.
More photos capture all they have endured. People doing drugs on their properties, showering and hanging clothes on their shrubs, stolen cars, dirty needles in yards, and bags of stolen mail discovered. Neighbors say people on these scooters go block to block, staking out homes before committing crimes.
And there are spotters on the city-regulated scooters that watch when people leave. And then it's like free market because no one's home.
Just describe these last couple of years. What have they been like for you living here?
They've been a living hell.
Donna also didn't want us to use her last name.
It's true the campers are not violent, but the drug dealers and the traffickers, the human traffickers come in, and they pretty much terrorize not the encampment and the people living around the encampment. If you complain to get the activists that are virtue signaling about how heartless you are, and then you also get the violent criminal element that's threatening you. And those threats have become more and more real.
Are you worried about your own safety for speaking out?
I am.
Dispatchers have taken 900 911 calls in the last 2 months from the neighborhood. Donna told us in a way they saw it coming as the city allowed the latest encampment to grow to at least 100 people before finally clearing the camp just hours after the fires. Along with it, the women say, were some neighbors' belongings.
And may I say, evidence of stolen property, of felony burglaries went into a landfill in a city that prides itself on having a climate plan and reducing global warming, are filling landfills with trucks and trucks of trash.
Neighbors point to rising tensions for months. Posters found this spring with the "You Sweep, We Strike" message, an official notice threatening police and public works, and a picture of someone holding a homemade incendiary device. The same words were spray painted on the main Seattle Parks and Rec building after homeless clearings in that city.
These activists are not, I don't think they're harmless. I'm telling you that. We've just been run over by this crime and we feel abandoned.
And Donna has a quick response for anyone who wonders if this is what they voted for.
I've been liberal all my life, but I'm not woke. I mean, you can be woke and be full of daydreams, believe me. But now it's like, it's full of people that just are tied to their ideology.
They point to their city council member, Jason Chavez, as an example. The Democratic Socialist once worked as embattled state representative John Thompson's legislative assistant. Chavez did not reply to our request for comment about his constituents' concerns. Within hours of the city clearing the encampment, a new one went up 2 blocks away, this time with spray-painted words on sheets surrounding the more than 20 tents.
I mean, really, people before property, when you do that to property, you're harming people.
It is my obligation to keep your communities safe.
The message Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey shared in a Somali TV report from May when he pledged to protect people in the Phillips neighborhood. Asked about the latest encampment, the city told Alpha News many people refuse services from its homeless response team and that city officials have reached out to the property owners to determine next steps.
I just feel like the city doesn't care, our council person doesn't care, the state doesn't care.
As for the woman who believes her home was targeted, she knows of at least 7 families on the block who are moving.
On that 2900 block of 14th, there was a Latino family who had his house firebombed, another family that got their house riddled with bullets. The house that caught on fire was being renovated by a Latino owner. And the Somali families had all had burglaries, car break-ins, been robbed. That is some sort of domestic terrorism when that takes hold. I'm trying to figure out how to just say to hell with Minneapolis, quite frankly.